what did we think of the Avengers Doomsday trailer? That is what we are here to discuss today. I am one of your hosts, Sean, and I'm actually flying solo. I am flying solo right now. I Joseph is a little under the weather, so I wanted to. Obviously, this weekend wasn't as big for movies, but in terms of box office, it kind of was. But for new releases, nothing really coming out. So we didn't have to do a review or anything like that, but we did have two big trailers come out, and so we wanted to talk about them. But fortunately, Joseph is not feeling too great, but I'm obviously hoping for the best and that he feels better soon, especially with Spider-Man coming out this week. We definitely want to talk about that, but yeah, hoping he feels better. Joseph, obviously, if you're listening, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best here. So, but yeah, I am here, Sean. We're here to talk about Avengers, and I was also interested in talking about the Clayface trailer. I I mean I do remember a lot of it. I was going to talk a lot about it, but I just feel like I need to watch it again for sure. I did really like it because I was watching it at work, so I was a little bit distracted. But the main thing I want to talk about is the Avengers Doomsday trailer, obviously, with San Diego Comic-Con going on right now. It's a big topic. It absolutely is a big topic, and it's going to be one of the biggest movies of the year and is the next Barbenheimer with Doomsday. And I can't wait to see Dune twice in the same day. I'm gonna see Dune and I'm gonna call it a day. That's why it's called Doomsday. But yeah, so let's just dive right on into it. So Avengers Doomsday coming out on December 18th. Hadn't really heard a whole lot about what was going on, and there's been a lot. I mean, I guess the biggest thing is that there just really isn't as much build up to this Avengers movie versus hell even the first Avengers movie. I remember when that came out and it was a huge deal when you had all these different movie characters combining into one movie, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Now, the last 6 years after Endgame, it's just kind of been a mess. And I mean, you'll have one good movie come out here and there, but then you have another couple crappy ones plus a couple mediocre TV shows, and so I've kind of fallen out of it with Marvel. I don't think they're all bad, but I definitely think compared to where they used to be, they're just not even close. And that's obviously not like a hot take. I think most people would agree with that. But for me, I was interested in what Doomsday was going to offer. I mean, you did have the Russo brothers coming back. You got Doctor Doom. You got RDJ as Doctor Doom, which is interesting. So it presents a lot of interesting ideas that I was excited about, and you're bringing in the X-Men as well from the Fox universe. You got the Fantastic Four coming in from another universe, and you got Thunderbolts. You got Sam Wilson, Captain America, somehow. Um, and Shang-Chi, you got Gambit for some reason. Um, so you just have all these different parts coming in, and it's definitely interesting. But I mean, just on the surface, it does feel like you're throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And for a movie like this, especially like when we look back at the other Avengers movies, like even Age of Ultron, uh, they just felt a lot more, they weren't just there to just be a crossover. They actually had a very meaningful and powerful story. And that has been something that I've been worried about since Endgame, basically. We just haven't had like anything to really grasp onto. The characters are just not as interesting as they used to be, and it's just hard. And like, how do you have the Avengers without Tony Stark? How do you have the Avengers without Steve Rogers? All we've got is Thor and Hulk, and that's about it. I mean, you could have Spider Man in there, whatever, but like even then, it's just like I don't know. I don't see. It's just hard for me to buy into these teams that are gonna be at play, and then Thor also being like the leader is also a little weird. I'm definitely not used to that. I don't really think of Thor as a leader. Um, I mean, he does do some leading here and there, but I mean, when we're talking about the Avengers, he's not the leader. It's Tony or it's Steve. So I obviously had my apprehensions going into this trailer. I didn't really know what to expect, other than I was very interested to see what was going to happen with Doctor Doom. He's one of my favorite comic book characters of all time, and you got RDJ coming to play him, and makes it a very interesting dilemma since he was obviously Iron Man, Tony Stark, and it's kind of hard to separate those two. But I'm hoping that they do something interesting with it. But enough beating around the bush. We watched the trailer. I watched it while I was at work, and this literally looks awful. it looks it looks terrible. I all of the hype, all of the interest, all of the just stuff that I wanted to see, like it doesn't look like a real movie. It looks like an AI generated prompt. I even just like the visuals of it look so just it looks how do I put this? Bland and boring. It just looks like a typical, you know, average superhero movie. Like, but Avengers movies are an event. Like they are the pinnacle of superhero events. Without the Avengers, like we don't get some of the best superhero movies of all time. And it just doesn't feel like it's an Avengers movie at this point. Like we don't have first of all, we don't even have an Avengers team. So them building up a new Avengers team is I mean, they did that in the first one, but they had a plan to do that. Whereas like in this movie, it's like, yeah, we got to put aside our differences because Doctor Doom, blah blah blah, and it's like the first thing that comes out of Thor's mouth is like he's never faced anybody more scary than Doctor Doom. It's like don't say that in the first trailer, right? Let his actions show what why he's so scary. I don't need you telling me he's scary. Just show me in the movie. Like that's what they did a great job with that with Thanos in the first couple trailers where he was doing like I'd much rather have him like do a monologue or whatever versus having Thor be like, "Oh, he's the scariest person ever," and like, yeah, he blocks your hammer with two fingers, but like I feel nothing. That's the moral of this whole thing. I don't feel anything. You see Doctor Doom and he's, you know, kneeling on the ground or whatever. By the way, just by the way, the visuals look just awful. I cannot stress this enough. Like the CGI and cinematography just look so bad. Like when I say it looks like an AI generated prompt, I literally mean it does. There are shots in this that look straight out of like Sora or whatever. Like especially the one where it's Thor about to crash down on Doctor Doom, and once he does the two fingers, then you look at Thor's face. His face, the way that his eyes are is like the way that they're glowing and shit. It's just so it just looks so bad. Like it compare that to how he looked in Infinity Wars, like the exact same moment, and it looked badass. Whereas here it just looks awful, like just visually awful. And like you look at like the sets and all that, like go back to Infinity War, go back to Endgame, and you can see like not they're not like the best looking movies ever, but like at least they looked like they had a sense of scale. This looks like it's shot on a soundstage. It literally does. Like it looks like the volume all over again. It looks like what they did with Moana. Maybe a little bit better than Moana, but it just looks so fake. Everything looks fake. It looks small. Like nothing feels like this is an event for us. Like this feels like it matters in this universe right now. And which sucks because I love Doctor Doom. He's such an interesting character, and bringing RDJ back in. By the way, his voice stupid. Just stupid. Like I get it. He's from like a foreign country, but like just hearing Robert Downey Jr. do that like different accent, like like the European accent is just it just doesn't sit with me right, and it just kind of sounds stupid. Maybe I'll change my mind when I see the movie. Again, I guess I should emphasis this at the start. This is just a trailer. It's just a trailer. I definitely could think something different when the movie comes out, but as of right now, just from what I've seen from the trailer, I I couldn't care less. The it just looks so washed. Like it just makes you wonder what are we doing here? Like you're bringing back the Russo brothers with Kevin Feige, who have had a really great track record, but this just doesn't look like there's any care put into it. It literally looks like this is the definition of like corporate slop. Like, I mean, really, they really didn't show a whole lot, but the stuff that was shown, like, you start off with Doctor Doom just kneeling in the sand. That visually doesn't look very good. It looks like somebody shot that on an iPhone. And then you go to them standing in a room together and they're just like what is the framing here, like what are we doing? It looks so, I mean, I'm guessing there's a lot of characters missing from that shot because they don't want to spoil it, but seriously, like why are what are we doing, like why, where is all the sauce, where's that sauce they were cooking with for the previous Avengers movies? Like it just feels like they're being spread too thin. And then you look at after that, we go all the way to the end of the trailer when you see Steve. Like this is the thing. This is what made me realize that I just don't give a shit anymore. Is we get to the end of the trailer and Steve is obviously back. We knew that from like the little teasers they did in front of Avatar, and obviously we see him at the end of this trailer, just looking like a regular guy in a t-shirt and some jeans, and and Thor's like, it's not possible. It's not possible. I'm like, I don't care now. I just don't. I really don't. And it what sucks because you asked me like after Endgame, like Steve's gonna come back in the next Avengers movie. I would be like, no way, that's impossible. But how would they do that? But like now, since there hasn't been any build up towards that ever even being a possibility, it's like I just don't care. Like I just it's so, it just feels so desperate. It feels so bland. It feels so lifeless. Like just the visuals alone are just lifeless, and I don't know. Like it just makes me sad. It makes me sad of where they used to be with Marvel and what they used to cook with, and now they just feel completely washed, absolutely washed, and it's a major bummer. And again, I might end up liking the movie. I might think it's the best Avengers movie. Who knows? Everything that I've heard about it screams like, "Oh, this movie's gonna be nuts. New Jersey gets destroyed or something." Like, oh, excuse me. I just and like you got the X-Men coming back. You got comic accurate Cyclops finally. You got the new Fantastic Four team coming in. Like it's like on paper it sounds cool, but in execution it just looks stupid. It looks so stupid. Like it especially like seeing Gambit come in, like why is he in this? Why is he popping up? I thought he was just supposed to be like a little cameo from the last movies. Obviously not. Maybe he's the key to everything. Who knows? I just don't understand. Like what? It just looks so. Yeah, I can harp on it 1,000 times. It just doesn't look good, and I'm hoping for the best. It's gonna make a lot of money, but depending on how this turns out, I probably won't even go to see it. I'll probably just see Dune twice in the same day instead of having to go see Avengers, and which is like unheard of for an Avengers movie. Like I'm questioning going to see an Avengers movie. That's kind of crazy. Like usually that's like an automatic. It's like a huge movie like Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man that's like an automatic. It's like, yeah, it's Spider-Man, you kind of have to go see it. It's like Batman too. It's Batman, you got to go see it. And that's how it used to be for the Avengers, and now it's just not, because it just doesn't feel like it has any. point anymore. We're at a point where there isn't even an Avengers team. We have a villain that we haven't even had like a somewhat of a hint that he was coming other than in Fantastic Four. We had um what was it? I'm trying to remember. It was like damn it, what was it? I can't I just completely lost track of thought. I my yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. But it yeah, I just don't. Yeah, now I know. They're bringing back characters for no reason right now. At least right now, it seems like it's for no reason. Like you're trying to connect it all the way back to Endgame. Like that just feels like a desperate move in and of itself. I don't know how you're going to be able to connect it back to Endgame when this was never part of the plan. Like, were you always going to re-release Endgame with extra footage from uh, Avengers Doomsday when originally it wasn't even Avengers Doomsday, it was the Kang Dynasty. Like that's how badly this whole ship has been messed up because you go from having a set plan, knowing where you want to go. Maybe you didn't know how you were going to get there at first, but you were still able to get there nonetheless with some hiccups for sure. And now it's just like, after Endgame, it was just throw it at the wall, see what sticks, and then we'll just go on from there. Spreading their teams too thin, cutting the budgets, or, well, actually, no, not cutting the budgets, having $200 million budgets still, and their movies still look like crap. And which is it's just wild to me. It's just absolutely wild how you spend this much money and it just looks terrible. It looks terrible, and Doomsday is no exception right now. Like I've seen people defending the visuals of it, and I just don't see how. I don't see how you can. Like Thunderbolts looked great. And that movie didn't cost $250 million. It probably cost like $170 million. And that movie looked really good, and it also had a really great director behind it. And that's another thing. You have the Rooster brothers coming back, right? And they had done Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. Well, all four good to excellent movies, superhero movies, I should say. And ever since they were done with Endgame, they've just fallen off a cliff. I mean, you had Cherry, which was eh. You had the Gray Man, which was not good, and then you have the Electric Steak, which is just absolutely awful. And there's an example of a $300 million movie that looks like shit. And also doesn't help that they put it on Netflix instead of putting it in theaters, but that's a whole other conversation. Because like, how are they going to make their money back? But regardless, their direction has just completely gone downhill, and you see it with every movie after. Like everything looks gray, everything looks lifeless, it looks dull, and coming back to Marvel, it's like, okay, well, they got Kevin Feige. He's the man. He's the one that's keeping everything under control. Blah 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 blah. And you look at this trailer, and it's just like, where was that kind of care? Like where is this care that was there before Endgame and Infinity War and whatnot? Where is that? Where did it go? Just because they haven't been there in a couple of years, like I feel it just feels like there's no like actual care put into this movie, and it just feels like something they need to pump out in order to do a reset of the universe. And it seems like it's going in that direction, especially with how Kevin Feige's talked about these new projects that are coming out. I'm recording this the day after they announced the Ghost Rider movie, and then Black Panther 3, and what else was there? I think that's it. Those are two big ones though. Ryan Coogler coming back for Black Panther 3, and David Johnson being cast as the new Black Panther, I think is perfect, absolutely perfect. Got me going in the right direction there. Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider could be good, could be not good. Who knows? Um, Sean Levy directing it is what scares me. But if all goes well with Starfighter, which Kevin Feige said he's seen, even though it doesn't come out for like another year, if all goes well there, I will be back in Sean Levy's good graces, but I feel like I don't know. It's kind of up in the air for that. But then yeah, Ryan Coogler coming back for Black Panther 3 with a whole new Black Panther. That's interesting, especially like with it says he's going to be shooting it on film. I mean, he's one of the best directors working right now. I mean, Sinners, Creed, Black Panther. Um, he's really good at what he does, and especially with Sinners, which is probably my favorite of his. He is somebody I can trust when it comes to these movies. And even Wakanda Forever, which was it was just that movie was going to be hard to make in any circumstance, just no matter who made it, and he did the best he could with what had happened, and it's tragic and what had happened, but he did the best he could, and it was okay. It was okay, but I'm glad they're going in a good direction now, getting a new Black Panther, and just going on from there. And these are all coming out after Secret Wars, so I'm guessing this is like in the new universe after, because that's what happens in Secret Wars, that like a whole new universe gets created and it's just one single universe. So I'm interested to see what happens there. I'm more interested to see what happens after these movies than the movies themselves, just because first of all, I am more interested in Secret Wars than I am Doomsday, because the story of Secret Wars is actually interesting, whereas Doomsday, I mean, like, I don't know, it might be interesting. Looks like crap, but I mean, maybe it'll be have an interesting story. Um, it's just yeah. I'm very interested in seeing where they're going down the line after these two movies. And but just staying on topic of Doomsday, it's just like that. It just doesn't look good. It just looks like a complete mess, and it's missing all of the sauce that used to be in these movies, and it just makes me sad. I really hope to be proven wrong. Maybe I will be, because my expectations are a lot lower now, but it literally looks like an AI movie, and I hate to say that, but it literally does. And it's no surprise too, because the Russo brothers talked about using AI in their movie making, and I think they probably had AI come up with these shots, and and that's why it looks so bad, because holy shit, like some of the shots just look awful. Like the one in particular that I keep going back to is the Thor one, but then also the the one where Doctor Doom is like kneeling in the sand. That one just looks really bad. And then um the it just looks so like small. Like everything is scaled to be super small, and even when you're looking at like a vista where the thing is shaking hands with M'Baku, whatever his name is, like that doesn't even feel like, oh, this is a huge meet. These guys just came from a completely different universe. Like, wow, this is so cool. It's like, no, it just feels like meh. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. And like just the setting of it, they're in the middle of like a giant sand pit between walls of water, but it looks doesn't look like visually interesting at all. It just looks like the most plain, and maybe there's something there that we're not seeing yet because they're hiding it, but it's still just yeah, it just looks terrible, looks so washed out, lifeless, boring. I'm just hoping that Doctor Doom is able to be an interesting character. Hopefully RDJ's accent isn't as bad as I'm thinking it is, just because the way that he was talking in the trailer was really putting me off, really taking me out of it. I couldn't take. I was like laughing. It was ugh. It's not great. So I guess ending my thoughts on Doomsday, I've been harping on it for a while. And this will be a shorter episode just because it's just me, but it just is disappointing to see where Marvel has gone, and I was hoping that this would be a nice step in the right direction, especially after Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four were generally pretty good. I really like Thunderbolts. Fantastic Four was okay, but it had a good setup for what was coming with Doomsday. And then obviously we're getting Spider-Man this week and then Doomsday. So I thought, oh, there could be a good run, and just this trailer really just bummed me out, like major bummer. Like when I watched the Thunderbolts trailer, I thought I was like, oh, this looks really interesting, visually unique, and actually has like a team of people that we don't really know yet, but you want to know about them as the movie goes along. And just from the first trailer, I wanted to learn more about them, especially like U.S. Agent and Ghost and obviously Lewis Pullman's character, who we don't see in the trailer, by the way. So I thought, oh, that was interesting. Even the Fantastic Four trailer, which I didn't love, but like it's a whole new universe, has its own visual style. Visual style, it still like had some visual problems, especially when it came to the Earth stuff. But when they were in space and whatnot, looked very good. It was very distinct, and I just liked like that old retro vibe that they were going for, and it worked really well for the movie. And I think that was been something that I always thought they should have done, is that after Endgame they should have done like a separate universe thing, where instead of staying in the same universe, they are in a different universe and take a couple years off and start a new universe, and then at some point combine them, for a Doomsday or a Secret Wars, like what's happening right now. But instead of it feeling like half baked and forced, it feels natural and interesting, and you could build something up from there. But that's not what they did, and I'm honestly kind of sad about that, because that would have actually been like that would make sense for a multiverse. And it like these multiverse stuff that is going on is just, oh, these are the other franchises that existed a while ago, so we'll bring them in because it's a multiverse. They all exist in the same universe, and I just don't find that as interesting. Whereas if they had like two separate universes going at the same time, that would have been really interesting under the same banner of Marvel Studios. Sure, it would have been a little bit confusing for general audiences, but I feel like people would have been able to understand it at some point. And I mean, they understood it with Fantastic Four. Who's to say they couldn't understand it with anything else for the movie? So I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but yeah, back to the trailer. Just super disappointing, and I really hope I'm proven wrong. We'll see when Doomsday comes around, and I either see Dune and call it a day, or I go see Dune and Doomsday. So we'll see. But those are my thoughts on the Avengers Doomsday trailer. Would like to see what you guys think. I feel like a lot of people are very divided on this, on the trailer. So love to hear what you guys have to say down below. I guess another thing I'd want to bring up is I'll briefly touch on the Clayface trailer. I thought it looked great. Absolutely fantastic. This is like the type of stuff that I want to see in like superhero movies, and I guess this isn't a superhero movie, it's a supervillain. And but it's a body horror, it's a character study, and it's that fall from grace that I always find interesting. And I think the way the movie looks, the body horror, it works so well for a character like Clayface, and makes it much more interesting than just him being made out of clay. It's morphing his body in ways that we can't even imagine, and it looks visually very interesting. I think the main guy, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he looks great in the movie. And the way that they keep also going back to him, like with the mask on, and hiding his face, I think it is really interesting, especially going down the line, and where that is in the timeline of things, and if it only gets better or worse. And I'm guessing it only gets worse because he shows up in Creature Commandos as in a full-on blob, and you kind of see him be a full-on blob in this as well. I wonder what that's going to look like. That'll be interesting. It's either going to look like a CGI mess, or it'll just be like a complete body horror nightmare in a good way. I'm hoping for the latter. But regardless, the trailer I think looks really good. The direction looks very interesting. And I know this is based on well, I don't know if it's based on it, but it takes a lot of inspiration from that one episode of the animated series of Batman. and I've never seen it, but I've seen like little clips of it here and there, and it looks like a really good story. And if they're basing it off of that, I'm happy. I'm happy, and I like how they're keeping it more under wraps too. Like they're not giving away all of the body horror. They're just giving you nice little glimpses and pieces, like the bathtub scene, where he's moves his face and it's dragging all of his skin over it. I love that scene. I think that's so interesting. He wipes off his face literally, and but like in this, like they add a little bit more to that. Like you see the rest of his body, and it looks disgusting and disconfigured. I would say. Um, it just yeah, it looks like a actually visually interesting movie that I'd want to see for sure. And so I'm really happy about that, and definitely liked it better than the Doomsday trailer. I'll tell you that. Definitely better than the Doomsday trailer. Don't really have as many thoughts on it, but the biggest thing I will say is that it looks good. So I'm happy about that. We also got our first screen test for the Batman Part 2, and of course another delay. So that's another Tuesday, which it sucks, but I mean there are rumors going around about Matt Reeves' health, and I'm not gonna assume anything, but it's gonna be 6 years since the first movie came out, and that's a long time. That is a long time, and it's gonna be interesting to see how well this does. But I mean, just the camera test, it's fine. It looks fine. It's like the first camera test for the Batman. Um, but obviously it's in winter now, so it actually, it's going to be an interesting setting. I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to see who's going to be the villain. But it's not too little, too late. Obviously, it's Batman. Everyone likes Batman. So, but it's just kind of frustrating how long we've had to wait. But I guess we're gonna have to wait even longer because it's coming out in February of 2028. So hopefully that doesn't mean that they're dumping it there because it's not going to be good. Obviously, I wouldn't think that because it's Batman, but you never know. Matt Reeves hasn't let me down yet, and if he's had to take his time to make this movie and it turns out to be the best movie he's ever made, then so be it. It's fine. It's also given Robert Pattinson enough time to be in a lot of stuff too, and I mean, he's been Odyssey, Dune. He's going to be in Dune Part 3. The drama. He's got prime time. Like he's got everything under his belt right now. So I'm happy now that, and it's all thanks to the Batman. Honestly, without the Batman, like I don't think Robert Pattinson would be in the position that he is today. And and working with these high profile, highly respected directors that are some of the best, if not the best, in the industry. So I'm really happy for him. It does suck that we've had to wait so long for him to come back as Batman, but in the end, I'm just glad we're getting it, and it's finally moving forward. Because I remember this being a meme forever that we were never going to get the Batman Part 2, and I'm just glad it's actually happening, even though it's going to be 6 years later. So Batman Part 2, 2028. I'm very very happy that's still going to happen, even though it's got delayed. Um, oh yeah. Final thing I'd like to bring up is the box office this weekend, mainly the Odyssey still. So the Odyssey is already past $640 million worldwide, and it's only been a week. And that's insane. Its opening weekend worldwide was like 250 million something, 260 million. And in just a week, it's made $400 million more. It's just crazy. For a movie like this, it's just crazy. And it deserves all the money in the world. It's a great movie, and adding to it this weekend, it only had a 29% box office drop. It went from $125 million opening domestically to I think it was an $85 million second weekend. Hold on. I'm gonna check on my end because I want to make sure this is actually correct because it's unbelievable how this happened. And I'm glad it's happened too. Especially and also I guess I should bring this up. Obsession has become the sixth highest grossing horror movie of all time at um at $458 million. That's what Obsession's at, $458 million, which is crazy. a movie that costs that little and is made that much just shows like the power of young voices in Hollywood, and like you're able to make experimental movies on YouTube and show who you are and your voice, and ultimately by the end you might be able to make a movie that resonates with the people of today and the younger generation, but also older people as well, and that's what Obsession did, and it's deserves all the money in the world. But going back to the Odyssey, let's see, $87 million. It made $87 million its second weekend, which is the biggest second weekend for a Christopher Nolan movie, and is a higher than the opening weekend for Oppenheimer, and that was when Barbenheimer was happening, which is crazy. So it was a 29% drop from the opening weekend and it's at $87 million. Unbelievable. Absolutely unheard of. Next week it's gonna have a significant drop off because Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's gonna make $500 million in like 2 days. Odyssey's not doing those numbers. But it's now on track to at least make like $1.2 billion, I think. That was where I was thinking it was going to end up anyway. And the fact that it's going to be at $700 million by like Tuesday, it's just unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. It deserves all the money, and I'm really happy for the next movie that Christopher Nolan's going to make is going to be the biggest blank check ever, and it's going to be. I just hope he does a horror movie because the horror that was in the Odyssey was really something interesting, and we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I think he's staying more into these like epic movies. Like even Tenet is like a spy epic. You got um uh Oppenheimer, historical biopic slash epic bio epic, whatever you want to call it, and then obviously the Odyssey, fantasy epic. Um, Even Dunkirk you could consider an epic, even though it's not as big of a scale, but you're still dealing with hundreds of thousands of people, 400,000 people trying to get saved from a beach. And then Interstellar is, Interstellar. So he's on his epic game right now, and I'm really interested to see what he's going to do next. And all the controversy about the Odyssey, blah 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 blah, it's going to be swept under the rug, and I won't have to worry about hearing anything else about it just because it's so annoying. And again, you don't have to like the movie, just have valid reasons as to why you don't like the movie, not because Helen of Troy is black. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, I'm really hoping that he makes something in the horror genre or like a horror epic or whatever. I don't know how you would do that, but it's Christopher Nolan. He'll find a way. He'll find a way to travel back to, you know, gothic times to shoot a medieval horror movie like Robert Eggers, which I mean, I'd be down for that. I just hope that Robert Pattinson is the lead of his next movie. That would be my one and only thing that I want to see is him be the lead because he's played all these great side characters in his movies so far, but I I just want him to be like the main focus. I feel like that would be perfect for him. Christopher Nolan and him go together like bread and butter. It's absolutely a match made in heaven, and it's one that I could see lasting for a really long time for sure. And who knows? Maybe he'll help Jennifer Lawrence get in touch with Christopher Nolan since they did the that movie last year. What was it called? Crap, I'm forgetting what it's called. You know what I'm talking about though. It's like the what was it called? Give me 1 second. See, this is what happens when I don't have Joseph here to help me out. He would know this like so easily. Where's Robert Pattinson? There he is. I'm gonna pull it up on Letterboxd because I need to make sure I'm correct on mine. Die My Love, that's what it's called. That's right. The one with Jennifer Lawrence from 2025, I believe. I never saw it, but I've obviously seen that interview and trying to get Jennifer Lawrence into a Christopher Nolan movie, which I think that could work. I don't think she should be a main character, but she could play like a Florence Pugh and Oppenheimer kind of role, smaller, more subdued, but still important, But yeah, that is this week's episode. Obviously not a whole lot of review talk to talk about, but I did want to mention I did want to talk about the Doomsday trailer and Clayface, and I know there was a Lanterns trailer that came out. I still haven't seen it. I'll probably watch it after I'm done here, but and then obviously talking about the Odyssey at the box office. It's just I think it's already made. Well, it's gonna be on track to pass Interstellar, I think, like tomorrow, which is crazy. And it's only been like a week, which is unbelievable. But that's the power of this movie, and I'm really happy for it. I'm really, really happy for it. So guys, thank you guys for watching or listening. We'll be back next week. Joseph will be back next week, hopefully feeling better. Obviously we got to talk about the big boy Spider-Man. That's gonna be a very interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to it. But as of right now, thank you guys for stopping by, and we will see you next week. Peace.